r/black people Twitter. Maximum Meaty Ball says, Yoruba guy here. As you can imagine, I was rather surprised to see this. Included photo. Super Simple says, is the argument here supposed to be that native African cultures were not sexual? Tribal dances are often about sexual prowess and fertility. Borissimo says, have they seen the statues? Eclipse Industries says, man, I'm white and even our archaic statues are full of sex. Humans like to frick. Fist Punch Vol 7 says, no one wants to admit it, but we be twerking when we putting in that work fayo. Ultimated 123 says, oh. Fist Punch Vol 7 says, UMF fayo. Tita Lieutenant says, for as horny as I be, twerking does nothing for me. It'd be like shaking your arm in my face. Boo Guy says, clothed twerking is meh, but if it's nude then it can be pretty wild. Borissimo says, but how do you keep the meat and potatoes from slapping around everywhere? Here Old Boars says, ah, yes. The ancient rain ritual of clapping those cheeks together. At least that's how strippers make it rain. r/black people Twitter. He says, mind you, colleges have washers/dryers. Included photo. It's probably sarcasm says, reason #53 why I refuse to eat at other people's houses. In Thiefternoon says, what's wrong with air drying? Did he only have one pair? It's okay to ask for help. It's probably sarcasm says, what's wrong with air drying? Generations of ancestors managed to get us all the way to the digital age with little more than cloth spins and free air. MFS these days got a Wi-Fi microwave vibrating their phone when their underwear is cooked. We got soft. Noblesux says, MFS these days got a Wi-Fi microwave vibrating their phone when their underwear is cooked. r/brand sentence. This red apple says, being broke sometimes awakens your resourcefulness. But sometimes it doesn't lol. Big 3x4s says, a lot of people don't know how to be broke or resourceful, and in the same light a lot of people don't know when or how to splurge. But that's why I don't pocket watch until somebody asks me for some money. r/black people Twitter. Kitty95 says, peace for all. Included photo. Dumplings Zo says, yes, sadly, some African countries are going through genocide, internal wars etc, and there has been no coverage about it. Smelling Armpits says, LinkedIn as post. 36 Muffy Crosswire says, an agree. Or thoughts? As post. Ben Van Pluten says, not for all. I'm sorry but certain people are responsible for all those atrocities. I'm not talking of one side or the other, but of the people in charge in all those countries. All the pose in power in Russia, Sudan, Gaza, Israel, Iran, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, China. And I'm probably forgetting a lot of them, since there are so many conflicts everywhere. And all the others, less involved but who think they can take political benefit from all those atrocities in the political West. And all those who consciously voted for or supported them. All of them can go F themselves. Yeah, I know, it seems only few are left. Sadly. Edit, typing mistake, I meant pose as pieces of SHT, or it would have been an horrible thing to say. r/black people Twitter. Lavezambi says, scary hours. Included photo. Greybag says, OHH, so that's why these rapper bars are sucking so bad. RN got from entirely different centuries authoring them. KFBR 392 says, it ain't the big three, it's just me when I bite my thumb at the. John Drink says, wasn't that a show? An inner city kid ended up talking with a ghost with his diary? El Pinita says, I'd come back just for a chance to touch Peak Demi more. Pablo Xis says, oh, so when rappers say they'll be sways, they mean transitioning from actively rapping into being ghostwriters? Till. Prestigious Mud says, I think of that show that had Julia Stiles play a hacker that one time. Lazar Sheepdog 716 says, I think of some rich, creative dude sitting in a mansion somewhere happy as frick that nobody knows his name or face. That's the life. Slugfus says, RIP PS. r/black people Twitter. He says, upvoting a comment that has -50 downvotes. Included photo. Aggravating Yam 4571 says, the downvoted shit is always SMTH, like hey let's be not racist you guys, with like 50 quadrillion downvotes and even more comments being like UHM actually this is why my racism is perfectly valid and justified, because insert some population are all just redacted. It's in their DNA, culture. Legacy Angel says, this is literally any of the odd threads over the past week lol. Phase Poopy says, I'll always find it interesting how people will support comments on Instagram that are the most bigoted and hateful sentences ever concocted, all with likes public and their face on their PFP. Lots says, don't forget the cross emoji and Bible verse in bio. Pathetian says, I always sort by controversial on Reddit and 95% of it is trolls and bad jokes, but every now and then I see a guy with -817 on what I thought was a reasonable opinion. Zrockwitham says, facts and I leave no comment, so they can't trace it back to me. Can't let them cancel me. Countoff says, it's dangerous to get in the path of an ongoing circle jerk mayo like standing on the train tracks trying to be Superman. r/black people Twitter. Rustipixie says, he looks so elegant and pretty. They should have more elegant pretty boy black actors tbh. Included photo. Multiple Chromatabs says, this is pretty dope, love to see it. Legacy Angel says, JP Stager play? I'm weeaboo as frick and have no idea what this means. Congrats though. Rustipixie says, Japanese stage play. It's a really big thing in Japan to adapt anime, manga and TV shows and games into stage play form. Altruistic by 2765 says, what stager play is it? Thegra Test Me Camp says, not really sure what's happening here, I'm old lol, but I'm all for seeing us prosper. Phase Poopy says, unless I'm very wrong, JP stage play is a Japanese stage play adapting anime/manga/Japanese media. Bishounen feed, based on the context, seems to mean making him look like a character from the media, while keeping the integrity of his appearance, namely modeling his hair into the shape of characters from the media. I could be wrong, but that's the assessment. r/black people Twitter. Lmi says, oh hell no. Included photo. JY2K says, psychopath behavior. Anything higher than 68 to 69 is too hot to sleep in. Lmi says, yes. Hell, I like it at 65 whenever I'm in a hotel. Mark Benek says, hell yes. Hotel is charging me, I'm putting on the act low. Totally on board. Sorry Toothesman says, this is when you know someone needs to make a doctor apt and get those iron levels checked. Lmi says, now they need their head checked tbh. Sorry Toothesman says, that too. Car Hack says, probably sleeps on a rock in direct sunlight too. Sober Will says, eats mealworms too probably. Favorite Sardine says, changing colors to match the drapes and shit. Rydooth22 says, this confirms basically this entire subreddit is white people. Not a black person alive whose thermostat is in the 60s. My girl would have a blanket and a hoodie on at 69 degrees. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.